So today I went into a deep dive unexpectedly. I was getting my hair done and me and my homegirl was talking about ancestry, and I started to show her how I started to build my family tree. She said she wanted to build hers, and so I started to give her insight on how I started. Before I submitted my DNA, I just started listing names and people that I knew based off of my family history. I grew up with my mom, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, my great-great-grandmother, more so with those last three, but when my mom gave me more information, I started to put together, everybody's name and put their placements. And then with Ancestry, it starts to give you hints. And so that you can start adding like people based off of newspapers, census, and all different types of clippings. My grandfather gave me insight to let me know that my great grandmother's cousin was actually Bobby Blue Bland. And if you don't know him, he's really famous for in Memphis, as well as pretty much anywhere, for his blues and his storytelling. He's known as the Sinatra of the blues.
Okay, we're back with Bobby Blue Bland and Godfather of the Soul, Mr. James Brown. And you know this fella, don't you, James?
Do I know him, man? I've always idolized him. I used to follow this cat, man, and try to sing like him, but I could never sing like him because nobody sings the blues like this man and our special guest.
We had a little... What were you talking about, B, at first?
Well, I was talking about lovers.
Lovers?
The world love lovers. The 3 L's. Loving, laughing...
And what
living. Living.
If I don't get well no more, I said I've had my fun, people. If I never get well no more, I think I'm going down slow. I don't want you to do nothing but just moan. Say,
Just moan.
Baby, Papa's got a brand new bag.
And I found out he was also inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame in 1981 and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1992, and then the Memphis Music Hall of Fame in 2012. I also learned about my 4th great granduncle, who was also a very prominent baseball player. He was a part of this team called the Ansdale Park League, and it was a local or semi-professional baseball league in Memphis, Tennessee that was active during the early 1900s, and he was considered a standout player. It said in the article, his trusty bat was credited for securing leads, and his performance, hitting 2 doubles in his first 2 at-bats, was significant enough to be detailed in the sports section of the Memphis Commercial Appeal. He was a well-known figure in the Memphis athletics scene long before he settled in nearby Arlington, Tennessee. But I continued to go further back, and then it always hits a stopping point. So when I get to about 1800s, I ended up finding out that my 6th great grandmother was an enslaved woman who they didn't really give her a name because she was listed as property. Little is known of her thanks to enslavement, but she was enslaved by a man named William Caldwell Tate, who could very well have gotten her, his parents probably enslaved, those, and she had a baby, and then, she was inherited, I guess, to William. But William Caldwell Tate, he was a doctor in Morganton, Burke County, North Carolina, which was one of the small communities of one of the wealthiest families in the county. And in the 1860 census, she was named, but not by her real name. She was accounted for as $42,000 worth of personal estate that was listed for William Caldwell Tate. She would be one of the ticks on, which is a line or a little asterisk on the slave schedule, probably in her late 30s or early 40s by the 1860s. Now, her son, my 5th great grandfather, he survived the Civil War and he moved his family to Tennessee. That's a prominent baseball player. So the more I go back, I learned that a lot of my history is tied into enslavement. Before then, I'm not sure. I'm learning and I'm doing my history, and I encourage you all to do the same. So when you hear people say stupid shit like, do y'all really know where y'all from? The thing about it is we have to research, we have to learn. But if you are considered property, you're not listed. And so you have to continue to go through those schedules and look and see if they could have possibly listed a name or even possibly, added something that could give you some type of hint. So I'm working on it, and I wanted to share that with y'all. And this is also a documentary for myself, so I can start putting the pieces together. But I'll be visiting Morganton, Burke County, North Carolina, and learning about the history there. so that I can learn about who my 6th great grandmother was. Y'all have a good one.